What up, my gamers?
Yes, best intro ever. Click that one. Okay, click that.
What we're watching is Dunkin' Donuts.
No, we're watching Horror Story. I used to work at Dunkin', the graveyard shift at Dunkin' Donuts.
Durkin.
But it's actually Durkin Donuts, so they don't get... Look, it's sandwiches.
Sandwiches and pasta.
I used to work the graveyard shift at a Dunkin' Donuts. For those of you who don't know what a Dunkin' Donuts is, it's basically a donut chain that sells coffee, breakfast items, and of course, donuts.
I would never remember that.
This brings me to a little over a month ago when our location was recently selected to become 24 hours. A lot of other establishments would maintain a 24-hour drive-through window, but ours was fully open. I'll be honest, it was interesting to see the new types of customers who would come in during these hours. We of course had the hipsters and goths who had nothing better to do at 3 a.m. than to sit in a coffee shop drinking 1 cup for an hour. There were the occasional overworked businessmen and interns, trying desperately to finish that last-minute presentation.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I had encountered a new type of customer, though he is very difficult to describe.
That's genius.
Have you ever met someone that makes you nervous for some unknown reason?
Yeah, I have.
Well, at around 2:30 a.m., a man walked in with a large overcoat, with the collar pulled up, and a black beanie on his head.
Don't you rob them.
What struck me as odd first was the lack of people in our
Don't
lobby.
Hollywood, if you want to hear your gun.
Normally at this time, we'd have the goths huddled in the corner cursing the system or something. But the entire store was empty aside from this man, myself, and my manager who was in the back. Probably sleeping or something. After this person walked in, I thought it had to be a homeless man,
that stuff off.
trying to escape the cold and possibly seek out a hot cup of pity.
Hot cup.
But then I saw his face. He was somewhat gaunt, but cleanly shaven. His eyes had dark circles around them as if he were tired, but he seemed quite energized. He then walked up to the counter. At that moment, I realized how tall this guy was. Like Kobe tall.
Kobe.
I asked him what he would like to order. He just stared straight ahead as if he were zoning out. I repeated my question a bit louder. He only said one word. Coffee.
Nah, you can't get coffee. Sorry, we're out of coffee.
We'll be out soon.
The man then leaned down and looked me in the eye and asked me if I was alone.
Yeah.
I told him I wasn't, that my manager was in the back room. He then pulled out a few crumpled up dollar bills, handed it to me, and then walked back out of the door without taking his coffee with him.
Forgot your coffee, sir!
As soon as he left the building, I felt this intense atmosphere lift up from around me. I was at a loss for words, to be honest.
Because I got free money.
I quickly rushed to the back and told my manager about the whole situation, to which he told me to put the man's money aside in case he comes back for it.
Okay.
The next night, everything was back to normal. The usual customers sat in their respective seats, sipping their coffee.
Look, it's the gauze people.
While I was keeping myself busy and mopping the floor, I couldn't help but think about the interaction I had last night. That's when I happened to look out of our front window. And I saw him. He was standing across the street under a streetlight.
That's
just standing there, staring at me.
Suspicious, everyone.
I turned to see if my manager was behind the counter, and when I looked back, he was gone. At that point, I was starting to feel unnerved. My last night working there was the worst by far. And also the reason I quit. I had arrived at work and relieved the people working before me. That's when I received a call from my manager telling me that he had a family emergency and would be a few hours late. I was upset, but there wasn't much I could do, so I just said all right.
Gosh dang it, he's
gonna
show up again.
Hours of me cleaning the same racks over and over again to keep my mind off things. I glanced out of the window once more. What I saw made my blood turn to ice. The man was standing on the other side of the window. He was grinning at me with a sinister smile that caused my body to seize up. Right away, I pulled out my cell phone and called the police. While my phone was ringing, the man did something strange. Without peeling his eyes from the glass, he pulled out a cell phone from his pocket. I watched him carefully as he began to type something into the phone without even looking at it. At that moment, my phone buzzed, notifying me of a text.
Texted him.
The message said,
Donut.
"Now you're alone."
He killed like the donut boss.
No! Dunkin' Donuts guy!
No, but actually, dude, That actually gave me like goosebumps.
Did he kill the guy?
Well, something because he texted something in the phone, and then afterwards he put "now you're alone," and the hand came out of nowhere.
Did
And
he
then
kill him?
I don't know. Like, is there any
No,
more?
Durkin Donuts man.
I don't like that.
Oh, that was cool.
You can watch that one.
Yeah, but we don't know if it's bad or not. The blood in the last couple.
They were fine.
I guess watch.
Okay, guys, one more reaction today. Don't let them in. Which, I don't think I will. Oh, no, I broke it. No, I didn't.
I wouldn't let anyone in my house I don't know.
Oh, no, it's an ad, everyone.
For a copyrighted video.
Durkin Donuts didn't give us ads. That cat looks really nice.
He looks like a pug.
It might be a pug, actually.
That's
definitely a dog.
That guy's pale. That girl is pale.
So, last night, I was in my living room reading some stories
Guy
about
voices
the
a
black-eyed
girl,
children
okay.
and the real-life men in black. It was around 2:30 in the morning, and my dog went to the door like he had to go out. I started to get up, and he started growling at the door.
Don't let him in.
He has never growled at anything in his life. He's only 6 months old. Then, my other dog jumped up onto the couch, trembling and whining. She's a year old. Needless to say, this unnerved me, since I was reading about creepy stuff and was already a little freaked out. So, I just sat back on the couch and held my older dog, trying to calm her down. Then a knock came on the door. Usually, my dogs go wild, barking and whining excitedly because they love people.
Do it.
But my 6-month-old puppy ran
Do
away
it.
from it and came over by me.
Oh,
At this point, my heart was
Did you
racing,
get it?
and I was
Do
just
it,
terrified.
like, open the door.
All the lights in
No,
my
don't
house
do
were
it.
off,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
why I was
curtains
trying
were
to get Betsy
drawn.
to open the door.
I
Don't
don't
do
have a
it.
peephole, so I peeked out through the blinds of the
Man.
window behind me that overlooked the porch.
Get my house.
There were 2 boys standing there. One looked to be around maybe 5. He was really little. And the other one was about 10, I'd say. They had their heads down and were wearing winter clothes, heavy jackets.
Get my house.
I thought this was weird because it's in the middle of summer. Then, they both turn and look up at me. I don't have a bulb on my porch light, so I couldn't see their faces, but they looked directly at the window. This freaked me out even more,
Right, I saw
so
no
I moved
eyes.
away from the window and just sat on my couch. I couldn't believe that this was happening. I had heard that if you knew about them,
Reddit.
That's
then
a real-
they would
YouTube.
visit
Dude,
you.
that's a real tablet. Asus.
Then one of them spoke.
Asus.
Ma'am, can you let us in? It's really cold out here, and my brother is hungry. I didn't move, and I didn't reply. I was immediately alarmed because I had no idea how they knew I was a ma'am. I just sat there on my couch. What the hell would 2 young kids be doing out at this time of night anyway?
War.
Plus, it's June in Alabama.
Jerry,
isn't
did
cold
you just
by
say
any
Jerry?
means. I had read
Jerry?
stories, and I thought, nope, not gonna answer the
Can't
door.
hear
Fuck
you.
this.
I got my headphones on.
Oh,
Ma'am,
no.
Please
What?
let us in.
Shh, girl, don't swear like that, okay? You're not
What'd she
allowed to
say?
say the F word on this channel.
Did you just say F you to them?
No, she said F this.
Oh.
No.
I saw you through the window. I know you're there.
No, you
It will only
don't.
take a moment. I was like, okay, what the fuck? A moment? What kids say that? I was frozen in fear
You're not
and just
coming in.
refused to answer them at
Go
all.
shotgun.
Cornflakes.
I waited for them to go away
Cornflakes.
and didn't dare look out my window because I just knew that they were right next to it and would be staring back at me with pitch black eyes. Then, after a few seconds of silence, they started pounding on my window, and I heard the same voice again. Let us in, please, it's cold. We have to call our mum.
It's summer.
She'll be worried if we don't call her. At this point, I was almost in tears. Just sat back against the arm of my
Wait,
couch
is he
and
over
held my
your
legs up to
mom?
my chest. There was no way I was answering that fucking door.
So sweet.
I stayed that way for about half an hour until I was sure that they were gone and everything
Samson!
was quiet.
Switch.
I never saw these kids' eyes. I have no idea for sure if they were black-eyed children, but I definitely believe that they were. I grabbed my phone and called my friend, who had suggested I read the stories,
Yeah.
and
Say,
woke
"There's
her up
kids
and
at my
begged her to come
door."
stay the night with me.
You're trying to break
Porn.
my
After I told her what happened, she agreed right away. About 15 minutes later, she still wasn't here. I started to get worried, because she only lives on the next street over. I saw headlights in my driveway and looked out the window. I saw her get out of the car and run to my door, banging on it. I let her in immediately, and she was crying, and had this terrified look on her face and said, "You aren't going to believe this, but I swear to God, I just encountered the 2 kids you told me about." She said she was at a stop sign and checked her phone for a second when this kid knocked on her window. It startled her, so she looked up, and strangely, the street lights were out, so she couldn't see his face, but there was another younger kid behind him.
What, guys?
She cracked the window open, already apprehensive, and said, "Can I help you?" And the kid said, "Give us a ride," in a demanding,
happened in
overly
real
confident
life,
voice
too.
for a child.
Kids
She
say, "Can
didn't
we
say
have a
anything,
ride?"
and the
pretty
kid
sure
stepped
they kill
toward her
someone.
car, and
It
he was
happened in
close
a
enough
movie or
now that
happened
she
in real
noticed
life?
he had jet black eyes, wall-to-wall black, no white.
I knew it.
She said she wanted to drive away immediately, but felt like she was being pulled into his stare, almost opening her door before she snapped out of it. She gunned the gas pedal and went straight to my house. We stayed up the rest of the night together.
You idiot!
According to the stories, they
Why
usually
are
pay
you
you more
taking
than
beer?
one visit. So I'm going to take a shit ton of melatonin and knock myself out tonight to try and sleep right through, in case they decide to come again. Believe me or not, this really happened, right here in Huntsville. Lock your doors and windows and ignore any child that comes to your door asking for help.
Okay, I'll just
Especially
ignore
if it's
a
at
kid
night.
shot in the arm and he comes to my door like screaming for help and he's normal. I'll just ignore
Dunkin'
that.
Donuts!
I'll just ignore a screaming kid.
That was a good one though, even though it swore like 100 times.
Yeah, I think those 2 were actually pretty good ones.
Yeah, we need to find some better ones.
But guys, that's all for this time. If you want a part 2, well, we're probably gonna make a part 2 anyways.
'Cause I'm flexing.
Just
Not-
see.
You know that episode of SpongeBob where he just hammers the board into his head? Imagine doing that with a Switch. Or an Xbox One.
Have you seen what SNL has done? They've like broken. They've
They've broken an Xbox.
They've broken
They
a
threw
Switch.
Black Yoshi's out of the room. They just threw it.
You wanna know what they did to a Switch?
What?
They put on like a buzzsaw to like, cause
No!
Jeffy, cause you know how Jeffy didn't know how to take the thing off, so they put on the saw and it went right through the thing and it went right through the other
This?
thing. No, show me it. Give it to me.
That?
Yeah, like, but I
That's
didn't.
the Joy-Con. You push the button in the back.
No, but Jeffy didn't know, and he didn't just get that too. He got some of the screen. He like did it right
Stupid.
here. Then it didn't work. And then
We
Jeffy,
should react to that. How bad would that
we
be?
can't because that was like a long time ago, so they still swore. You gotta do your actual game.
Get my son out.